What's going on, Chaka Cons? Chaka Cons, what's going on? Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Good to see you on this fine, beautiful Friday. I hope you are having a good Friday. I did not have my sunglasses today. That's okay. Sometimes we don't need them. I hope everybody is having a fabulous Friday. Good to see you. And today we are going to be covering Trump again. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but it's big news. We got to cover this, and we got a lot of stuff to go over. It's going to be very entertaining. Last week we covered the campaign rally that Trump did, and that was all good and fun, right? But this week we have a verdict out about the hush money trial, the shush money trial. And it was released yesterday. It was so funny, no joke. I was sitting on my couch, after I was taking a break because I was cleaning up rat shit. That's another story. So after cleaning up rat shit, rodentia feces, that's a whole nother story. I'll tell you later. But anyways, after spending a ton of time cleaning yesterday, cleaning out my backyard, sweeping up shit and stuff like that, I sat down on my couch and I was taking a break, and I'm like, what the fuck am I gonna talk about tomorrow? So I pull up my phone, and then literally my phone, I looked up ground news, a news app, and the news app was Trump verdict for the hush money trial, happening now. Literally, I just got onto my phone 5 minutes before the verdict was going to be announced. And so it's just oh my goodness. So I'm I'm going on my phone. I'm taking my TV. Does anybody else have TV remotes that have voice search options? You click the microphone button and you can actually speak into the what is it? The remote. Hello, the remote control for the TV. Does anybody have an Amazon Fire TV or something where you press the button and you speak something and it searches it? So I'm just I speak into it and I'm Trump verdict, and it pulls up, and I got into a live stream, and the live stream is we are going to announce the verdict in a few minutes, and it was this weird serendipitous timing thing where I sat down. I was just taking a break. I was busy about my day. I was minding my own business. I sat down on the couch to take a break, and immediately it was the Trump verdict right now, and I'm oh my goodness. So I'm oh my goodness. I'm on my phone. I'm on the remote hello, Trump verdict live stream, hello. And it comes on, and it was really interesting. Okay, so for those of you who don't normally watch my live streams, just to explain, I do cover Trump enough, but recently, for like the past 6 months or so, I have been very fatigued about Trump, so I kind of use him as filler. And I didn't really see the trial shit going on as much of like something to like actually bring up here on the stream until today. So I'm like, all right, here we go. Actually, something like not just like gag orders like that. I think that's why I didn't want to cover Trump stuff before, because it was always this weird, convoluted shit about like, oh, he gets a gag order. Oh, he violated the gag order. And now there's this, and then another gag order on the gag order, and he violated that gag order, and all that stuff. And I'm like, I don't want to talk about this. Like, it's like filler, yeah. But, anyways, today, straight up, verdict, guilty, guilty, guilty. Guilty, guilty, guilty on all 34 verdicts. Or wait, 34 verdicts, like accounts of like felony, whatever worded verbiage. I don't give a shit. So I'm just gonna take today's stream and just sort of soak in the tears of the MAGA supporters. Like, I'm just gonna soak and bathe in the tears of Trump supporters. Also, I don't want to call anybody out personally. I don't want to like create unnecessary drama. However, this is something I want to bring up. Last night in Morg's live stream, Morg brought up the topic of Elon Musk. And within that, I noticed there was a couple of people, because I moderate Morg's live streams. There was a couple of people in the chat who were super offended. And I don't mean like mildly like disagreeing. Like, they weren't just like, I disagree. Like, they took it so fucking personally. Like, so personally that, you know, Morg didn't necessarily speak fondly of Musk. But I came in there and I was like, no, Musk is actually like a terrible person. And there was a couple of people who just got like so upset with that. And one person in particular who was like, well, if you don't like Elon Musk and you're also happy about Trump being convicted as guilty, like, you must be like a radical leftist. And there was some part where I was like, well, have you been to my live streams, dude? And he was like, yes, I've been to your live streams, but they were so leftist I had to leave. And I thought that was just really funny, because if anybody actually like attends my streams, they're gonna know that I'm not exactly a leftist or a right-wing person or a conservative or a liberal or anything like that. Like, I'm literally Neogenian. I do want to talk about that, because there was a couple of people who got really offended about the topic of Elon Musk last night. So I do want to talk about that. But before we get into those like nitty-gritty, like weird details, we're just gonna hang out, chill out, Max, and be cool, playing some b-ball outside the school. We're just gonna wait a little bit for people to get in, and then we're going to continue. So, good to see you, everybody. I hope your week has been going well. What is up? What's going on? What have you been up to? Any good news? Any good news? Any bad news? We'll take the bad news too. There's no buzz killing here on this stream. Like, be honest. Like, how you doing? How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Also, I just completely, so the software program that I live stream from, I completely redid the whole thing and set up everything over again, because I noticed the last couple of streams I've had, the sound has been like kind of off. So I hope the sound is better. Like, does this sound better? Like, is this better sound? Who do I see in the chat? I see Halloween Mom. What's up, Halloween Mama? We got the Halloween Mommy here. We got Becca. Becca's a queen bee. I got Stoic Jeff. Stoic Jeff said, I became an uncle. Baby Jace also has the same birthday as me. Congratulations, Jeff. Isn't that so amazing when a new life comes into this world? Congratulations on your not your baby. I know you're an uncle. Like, congratulations on being an uncle. That is such a fabulous thing to be. Like, how awesome is that? Baby Jace is also the same birthday as you. Isn't that fun? Isn't that not funny as in like haha, but like, isn't that funny how like things connect? Like, that's so great. Congrats, Jeff. Congratulations on being an uncle. Hello, Mistress Angelica. Is Skylar here? Skylar is here! What's up, Skylar? What's going on? What's up, dude? MC Heavyset, hello, how are you doing? Says, hi, Jan, I dreamt I was at your house. What did it look like? Was it clean? Okay, you dreamt you were at my house, but as long as it was clean and the dishes were done. Was it clean? I feel like my lighting is ugly. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I'm just ugly. I don't care. Liz Leaf says, I feel like if you defend Elon, then you have not been paying attention to the lessons that Morg teaches us. I was a little surprised. Okay, so, I know it's not necessarily appropriate to drag out drama and stuff like that, but I've been thinking about it. There was somebody in the chat yesterday in Morg's live stream who I've seen around for several months, who has been fairly, in agreement with like Neogenian ideals, but then the moment Elon Musk came up, suddenly it was forbidden, right? It was so weird. It was like, you can't talk badly about Elon Musk. And I saw this from like a couple of different people where they're like, Elon Musk isn't here to defend himself. And it's just so unfair you're talking about him like this. And it's like, Elon Musk is a billionaire. Elon Musk is a high-profile figure. How am I being unfair to him when he's in an extreme position of power? How am I at fault for criticizing a public figure for their atrocities, which we have covered several times throughout several streams? Like, how am I the bad person? I don't have billions of dollars. I don't have a say over other people's lives. I don't. Elon Musk does. Elon Musk gets to decide how much money other people make, how well they thrive or not thrive. Like, how am I the asshole? Do you think that's fair? Do you think that's a little bit odd? How it's like, you're just a bully, and Elon Musk isn't here to defend himself. And I honestly, I can't fucking conceptualize it. And then it even got to the point where there was a person who was like, well, if you don't like Elon Musk and you think it's funny and good that Trump got convicted of all 34 counts of felonies, like, they pretty much put me in a false dichotomy. They're like, oh, if you think it's good that Trump is in this situation, then you must support Biden. And I was just like, no, I don't. It's that false dichotomy. It's like, if you hate Trump, then you must support Biden. And I'm like, I hate Trump and I do not support Biden. So where does your conceptualization of reality and what boxes people fit and don't fit in, like, go then? If somebody doesn't support Trump or Biden, like, where do you go? It's a little interesting to me, the sort of like false dichotomy of like, if you either have to support Trump or Biden, like you have to do one or the other. And it's like, no, I don't have to do one or the other. Also, this person specifically said, like, I'm like, hey, have you ever been to my live streams? And this person said, like, yes, I saw your live streams and they were too left, so I had to leave. It's like, well, look, I don't coin myself on being left per se. Like, kind of, I guess. But, like, if you think I'm too left, you got bias. If you look at my material and you think I'm too left, you're biased and you got some shit going on. I don't know. You need to stick around a little bit longer. Because if you actually stuck around, you'd find out that I am ultimately teleocratic. I'm not left or right. I'm teleocratic. Anyways, before we get started, let's hang out a little bit more and then we'll get going. What do we got going on in the chat? I have just like, I've always been clear about shitting on Elon Musk. And okay, let me make this very clear. I, first and foremost, am Neogenian. Okay? My ideals ultimately line up politically to a teleocracy. I am teleocratic in politically wise. When it comes to politics, I am teleocratic. Many components of teleocracy will seem left, but there are plenty of components that don't. You gotta like stick around a little bit. You can't approach teleocracy from this dichotomy of like either you're Trump or Biden, you're either right or left, because like that's not going to work in the long run. Does that make sense? Neogenian is about a teleocracy. A teleocracy is all about what benefits humanity to help all of humanity grow, evolve, and actualize into the best versions of themselves. A lot of that seems leftist. I'm going to be honest. It seems like leftist. And you wouldn't be wrong for calling it that. But you're going to be sorely mistaken if you're going to coin teleocracy as purely left. You're going to be sorely mistaken if you do that. And you're going to be sorely mistaken if you try to associate teleocracy with the right, conservative right. You're going to be sorely mistaken then as well. So, really interesting. Okay, this is a really good comment. So Becca says, I think it's weird Trump supporters are like super fans. So if they think we're against him, as in against Trump, then it means we're Biden super fans, and we're definitely not. I mean, I personally am not going to define things in the point of we. And what I mean by we, as in like the Neogenian community, because as far as the Neogenian community goes, I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I'm not going to tell you how to think politically between Biden and Trump. I'm not. I certainly have my own personal opinions. But ultimately, my political views are going to fall in line with teleocracy, which is like whatever works that supports humanity to evolve and grow and actualize, whatever that takes. Kind of. I feel like even saying that is a little bit haphazard. I guess that's the whole point with like talking about the politics within the Neogenian perspective. Is I don't want to give you any statement that's like haphazardly able to be interpreted as either left or right. Like the ultimate goal is what helps humanity actualize, still remain individuals, still explore their individual expression, but all come together as a functioning society that benefits everybody. That is ultimately where I'm at. You could take that idea and you could associate it with a certain party that you were connected to or affiliated with or, biased for or whatever. But Neogenian teleocracy is never going to be like, we're never going to say like we are exactly left or right. Right? Even though a lot of shit I say is very left supportive. Look, I think it's pretty clear with Trump and his guilty verdict that that is something that is due. However, there are some people who think like this is a witch hunt, like Trump isn't actually guilty, this is all a distraction and a ploy from Joe Biden, Genocide Joe is what they call him. Because simultaneously, it is true that during this whole Trump bullshit, Joe Biden just made it perfectly acceptable for Russia to use U.S. weapons against Ukraine. And everybody calls this a distraction. It's a distraction. It's like, no, this is just fucking coincidence. Like, this is just like in the plans and it just lines up perfectly enough to give them an advantage. But there's never any grand plan of like, we're going to distract you with this while we do this. Like, to some degrees, yes, but not in this case. I really think it's a coincidence because ultimately what's going on with Trump right now is valid. He did this whole hush money bullshit. That's valid. Perhaps the Biden administration is going to use this as an advantage media-wise to do their own shit because everybody's looking at this. Perhaps. But it's not planned out from the get-go. You know what I mean? But we're kind of getting into the topic a little bit too much. I still want to like chill out and relax and be cool before we get going. What's up, Imaginista? Hey, Elise. Good to see you, Elise. Elise, have you been doing paintings? Have you been doing more art? Kind of miss that. Your sparkly paintings. I feel like I need to open the window. It's kind of like hot. It's like May 31st. It's hot in my room. I don't like Biden. And if anybody comes to my streams and they're going to immediately write me off as some radical leftist, joke's on you. Because you don't have the patience to stick around and find out. I gotta open the window and pee. Hold on. I'm gonna open the window and pee. We get some air. We get the pee out. We're gonna be good. Alright. Hold on. Okay, here we go. Oh, what do we got here? I got a meatball sandwich. Oh shit, it's messy. I got a homemade meatball sandwich. It's really good. It's really messy though. Let's see. Elise says, yes, I did a couple of pieces last week, but they're a bit beyond just paintings, more artistic, metaphorical think pieces. Finally have a weekend without an event or other page stuff. That's good. Yeah, I got like a couple of like tiny little meatball sandwiches on my plate and like a bunch of like Caesar salad. So I'm just going to be like casually munching on that. Worth it. So, my friends, last night or yesterday, there was the official verdict of Trump's 34 felony accounts associated with the Stormy Daniels hush money case. This is like one of 4 cases I think that like Trump is in right now. But this is the only thing we've heard of so far. This is very interesting. There's a lot to talk about here. So let's maybe get into this a little bit. Oh my goodness. Okay. So, yeah, yesterday, like I said, like I just barely like logged on. I'm like, what's going on? It's like Trump verdict now. And I'm like, oh my God. I was freaking out. You can't hear me chew, can you? I don't want to annoy you with my chewing. My lighting seems like washed out and fucked up. I honestly don't like it, but you know what? I'm here for you, not for me, so. Let's go. First, we're gonna watch Trump himself come out and talk about how he feels about this verdict. And then today, I believe he had a media address, however it's worded. Let's dive right in. Let's go. Spectral Cord says, so dinner tonight, should I go vegan again or no? Yeah, go vegan. My dinner particularly is not vegan tonight. However, it could very well be. Mark said, Mark, hello, Mark. Mark's like, we live in interesting times. We do, don't we? Actually, you know, I was talking with my friend earlier, and he's like, you know, I don't really like being in this era right now. And I'm like, why? You know, and he had his own reasons. The reason why I like being alive now is because we're kind of in this weird Tower of Babel phase. Like, I'm actually really excited to be alive now because this is the first time in humanity where we are given a platform of communication that connects us all very rapidly. Kind of like the Tower of Babel. Like, we're all just speaking in languages at this place and we don't understand each other and it's like super damned and all that. It's like I'm actually happy to be alive now. I think it's a very interesting time to be alive. Hey Lisa, hey Spectral. Cassie was here earlier, I swear to God. All right, let's listen to the. Okay, so yesterday, hush money trial for Stormy Daniels. This is the case where Trump paid Stormy Daniels money to keep quiet about their sexual affairs. Okay. Verdict came out guilty across the board. Here's his response. Shut up, Russell. Yo, his face looks so fucking sour. Let's back it up. Like, his face is so disappointing. I apologize. I'm trying to eat dinner and stream at the same time. I apologize if it's... Jan has a pet. What is Russell? Russell is the crow outside my fucking window begging me for fucking peanuts right now. Do you get it? Russell Crowe? Russell is the fucking crow outside who refuses to bring me shiny things and just demands peanuts and chips and table scraps, and like whenever I'm in the kitchen, he's fucking looking at me through the window. There's another crow, like a parrot, like I call him Brendan, you know, Brendan Lee from The Crow. So there's Russell Crowe, there's Brendan Lee from The Crow. So there's Russell and Brendan. I definitely can tell them apart. And they like to just, I don't know, terrorize me for peanuts. Russell, fuck off. Russell, fuck off! My voice is all cracking. Anyways. Hi, Joanna. Don't be mean to Russell. This is a disgrace. It was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge. No morals, no nothing. Has nothing to say about the justice system. It was totally rigged. This is a witch hunt. The bags under his eyeballs are bigger than his actual fucking eyes. Ah! So what Trump is saying right now is he's saying it doesn't matter that I'm convicted of 30 fucking 4 felonies, even if they're low grade. Let's admit they're low grade. Why are they low grade? Okay, so these are actually low grade felonies. Like, I know, like, the idea of being convicted of a felony seems like big, you know. Seems like crazy, like out of the top. It's like the guffaw, the hush hush, like the oh my god, you can't commit a felony. But there are different levels of felonies, and this is like in the lowest form. So the felonies Trump is being convicted of are very low tier, which means they are non-violent felonies. Like, it's not like Trump actually held a knife to somebody's throat and is like, come here, like, take this money or shut up. Like they're very low level. Yeah, Mark says they're E-class felonies. So E-class felonies are very low. So even though, I'm going to say this right now, I'm going to get this out of the way. Oh, David said this. Oh, the sound is low, isn't it? Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. Let me backtrack. Let's start over. But let me finish explaining too. So, like, even though these felony charges, where was I going? Are felony charges. They're very low, so we're getting some catharsis from this, but we're not going to get the catharsis of actually seeing images of Trump being, like, thrown into jail, right? We're never going to get that police body cam footage of, like, Trump in jail. Like, we're never going to get that particular catharsis level. However, this is still some catharsis for the bullshit that he's been doing and has constantly got away with. And finally, there is something on record saying, no, you are a criminal. So let me start this over. I apologize for the sound. Here we go.
Mr. Trump, what do you have to say to the American people? Mr. Trump, how is it going to be convicted of felony?
Oh my god, hold on. Lee, I have to say hello to you. I haven't seen you in a while, buddy. I hope you're doing okay. I miss you, boo. We should do another collab soon. And more, good to see you. Thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate that. We're getting into the lament by Trump supporters today over this. Really interesting stuff. Election season is coming upon us, my friends. It's going to be here in November. It's time to pay attention to these political figures. I know politics may seem boring or frustrating or overwhelming, but there is a way. And, you know, I want to be clear that I have my own personal opinions, but ultimately I hope to convey the teleocracy, like the teleocratic point of view to you. And at least give you that idea so that, like, when we look at whatever potential leader we elect in the future, like, hopefully it gives you some basis and grounding of, like, what you want to vote for. But I'm not going to tell you how to vote. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to tell you, like, how you should do this or that. That's not my vibe. I just want to look at these figures. I want to look at figures like Trump, Biden, and honestly, let's back up for a minute. It is fair to say that I am more heavy on political figures such as Trump versus Biden. And honestly, I've been thinking about that lately. So I think next week we might dive into Biden and, like, dissecting, like, what he's good at, and most importantly, his atrocities, because Biden is not that great either. So, I think in all fairness, like, I should do a little bit of a segment, not just a little bit, like, I should do a segment, like, fully on Biden, just to give you the bearings that, like, just because I'm anti-Trump doesn't mean I support Biden, okay? Because I don't, flat out. I don't think that guy's good. But in all fairness, I do find it easier to bash on Trump than I do Biden, mainly because Biden is boring. He makes very bad decisions. Biden makes very bad decisions, but he's not as charismatic as Trump. So it's a little harder to pay attention to him because he's under the rug more so than Trump, who is very charismatic, open, and out on the stage. But I am not, but just before I move on, I want to make it very clear, even though I seem very leftist, even though I seem like a radical leftist, like, I don't know what else to say other than I don't support Biden. I don't like Biden. I don't want to vote for him. How I vote is gonna be my own personal business, honestly. How I vote is gonna be my own personal business, like my personal business. But just so you know, I don't support Trump or Biden. Like, I don't like being caught in the false dichotomy of like, oh, do you hate Trump? Well, that automatically means you like Biden. It's like, no, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. And if you think that, then I mean, I don't know, there's the door. Anyways, let's get on. Trump has just been convicted of 34 counts of being guilty, like felony crimes. Let's look at him react to this.
Are you worried about going to jail?
This was a disgrace. This was a rigged trial by a conflicted judge who was corrupt. It's a rigged trial, a disgrace. They wouldn't give us a venue change. We were at 5% or 6% in this district, in this area.
Yo, as I was saying before, the bags under his eyeballs are bigger than his actual eyes. Like, this man is tired. This is a man who is like fully functioning on like a cocktail of drugs.
This was a rigged, disgraceful trial. The real verdict is going to be November 5th by the people. And they know what happened here, and everybody knows what happened here. You have a Soros-backed DA, and the whole thing, we didn't do a thing wrong. I'm a very innocent man, and it's okay. I'm fighting for our country. I'm fighting for our Constitution.
Hold on, pause. I'm coughing because that was funny. I'm a very innocent man. I'm a very innocent man. I'm completely innocent. I've done nothing wrong. Yo, this reminds me about his, like, infamous line, like, I did everything right, but they indicted me. It's been one of my favorite phrases ever since. I did everything right, and they indicted me. The storm of Stormy Daniels is upon us. Yo, straight up, you know how QAnon people with their weird, like, conspiracy theories, they always talk about the storm. The storm is upon us. The storm is coming. The storm of Donald Trump swooping in to save us from the bloodlusting Democrats who are performing, like, blood sacrificial rituals and things like that. Like these QAnon people. It's really ironic that they say the storm is coming when currently the storm right now is Stormy Daniels, the lady that Trump paid off in hush money to keep this under wraps that she came out with. By the way, if you follow Stormy Daniels on Twitter, she's a really smart lady. She's a fucking intelligent lady. And this is where it kind of gets into the areas, like, just because women are sex workers doesn't mean they're dumbasses. You know how many sex workers are fucking intelligent, fucking beautifully, politically, like, strong women? Yo, that can hand you your ass and logic. Like, I'm not trying to put Stormy Daniels on a pedestal. I'm sure she has her flaws too, right? Like, I'm not saying she's perfect, but when it comes into the situation between her and Trump, she's a smart lady, and she is not afraid. She is not afraid, okay? She is up there. She is like, bitch, bring it. Like, I honestly admire her in a way. I don't think she's a perfect person. I don't think she's necessarily somebody who represents values of Neogenianism. Like, she's not like that kind of person, right? But, like, in a way, I'm like, you're a strong lady, right? Like, any strong ass lady who could, like, testify against Trump, frankly, is like gold in my book. She's not perfect, but she's a saint.
Country is being rigged right now. This was done by the Biden administration in order to wound or hurt an opponent, a political opponent. And I think it's just a disgrace. And we'll keep fighting. We'll fight till the end and we'll win, because our country's gone to hell. We don't have the same country anymore. We have a divided mess. We're a nation in decline, serious decline. Millions and millions of people pouring into our country right now.
Millions of people pouring into our country. I don't know why he's so squinty. Why does he squint so much? The millions of people. This is a witch hunt. Like, his eyes are always like this. Like, this is a witch hunt. Millions of people know this is false. Like, why are your eyes squinting like that?
From prisons and from mental institutions, terrorists, and they're taking over our country. We have a country that's in big trouble. But this was a rigged decision right from day one, with a conflicted judge who should have never been allowed to try this case. Never. And we will fight for our Constitution. This is long from over. Thank you very much.
Why should voters vote for convicted felons?
Are you going to drop out? You believe in the rule of law? You trust the jury? Are you worried about the right?
This is a rigged election. It's rigged. So that was just after he got convicted of 34 felonies. 34! Oh my fuck, 34? Even if they're mild felonies, those are still felonies. Oh my god. There's mushrooms in this red Italian sauce, and it's delicious. Okay, side note, I love mushrooms, but they don't love me. So if you hear a fart, if you hear me farting through the stream, just know it's the mushrooms. Anyways. Trump had that initial response. Like, immediately the response to the what's the word? Indicted? No. I don't know. Anyways, he's found guilty, right? He's found guilty. Now we're going to watch, I think this came out today. Yeah, so this came out 10 hours ago. This is a media response by Donald Trump. We're going to look at this. Verdict. Thank you. Thank you, Mark. It's so frustrating when you know what words are, but then when you talk, you have like a little bit of a brain fart and you're like, the thingy thing. You know what the thing I'm talking about? The thing. I had that moment. It was a guilty verdict. Anyways, that was a speech by Trump immediately after the verdict. Now we're going today, where he has a sort of media hearing.
Thank you very much, everybody. This is a case where if they can do this to me, they can do this to anyone. These are bad people. These are, in many cases, I believe, sick people. When you look at our country, what's happening where millions and millions of people are flowing in from all parts of the world, not just South America, from Africa, from Asia, from the Middle East, and they're coming in from jails and prisons, and they're coming in from mental institutions and insane asylums. They're coming in from all over the world into our country. And we have a president.
It's 2024. Do we still have insane asylums? It just seems a little outdated of terminology to me. They're coming from insane asylums. They're selling their hair. Yes, the women are being thrown into insane asylums. Women, they're being thrown into insane asylums. They're being forced to sell their hair. Yes, it's very terrible. Very terrible. But not as terrible as the convictions tonight. As the verdict tonight.
And a group of fascists that don't want to do anything about it.
He's just mad because people in insane asylums are able to sell their hair and he's not.
About it. Because they could right now, today, he could stop it. But he's not. They're destroying our country.
Well, where's our closed captions?
Our country is in very bad shape. And they're very much against me saying these things. They want to raise your taxes by 4 times.
They want to raise your taxes. Who's they? Who the fuck are we talking about?
They want to stop you from having cars with their ridiculous mandates that make it impossible for you to get a car or afford a car. But make it very possible for China to build all of our cars.
China.
It's a very serious problem that we have. We just went through one of many experiences where we had a conflicted judge, highly conflicted. There's never been a more conflicted judge. Now, I'm under a gag order.
The judge was insane. The judge had no conceptualization, none whatsoever. If you want compilation, I got that. Not this judge. Oh no. He's very deranged. Very conflicted. He's very confused. He doesn't know how to put his pants on in the morning. How does he say, how do I put my pants on? He says, I don't know. Well, I know. As President Trump, I know you put them one leg on at a time. Here we are. Both legs in the pants. Not this judge. Oh, no.
Which nobody's ever been under. No presidential candidate's ever been under a gag order before. I'm under a gag order.
I kind of wish Philip was here because Philip has like a really good Trump impression.
Nasty gag order. Where I've had to pay thousands of dollars in penalties and fines and was threatened with jail. Think of it. I'm the leading candidate. I'm leading Biden by a lot, and I'm leading the Republicans to the point where that's over. So I'm the leading person for president, and I'm under a gag order by a man that can't put 2 sentences together, given by a court, and they are in total conjunction with the White House and the DOJ, just so you understand. This is all done by Biden and his people. Maybe his people more importantly. I don't know if Biden knows too much about it. because I don't know if he knows about anything. But he's nevertheless the president, so we have to use his name. And this is done by Washington, and nobody's ever seen anything like it. So we have a judge who's highly conflicted. You know what the confliction is. Nobody wants to write about it, and I'm not allowed to talk about it. If I do, he said, I get put in jail. So we'll play that game a little bit longer. We won't talk about it, but you're allowed to talk about it. I hope you do, because there's never been anybody so conflicted as this. As far as the trial itself, it was very unfair. We weren't allowed to use our election expert under any circumstances. You saw what happened.
Why would you need an election expert in a trial? Like, what fucking sense does that make?
Happened to some of the witnesses that were on our side. They were literally crucified by this man who looks like an angel, but he's really a devil. He looks so nice and soft. People say, oh, he seems like such a nice man. No, unless you saw him in action. And you saw that with a certain witness that went through hell. And when we wanted to do things, he wouldn't let us do those things. But when the government wanted something, they got everything. They got everything they wanted. It was a rigged trial. We wanted a venue change where we could have a fair trial. We didn't get it. We wanted a judge change. We wanted a judge that wasn't conflicted. And obviously he didn't do that.
You elected your jury. The jury that was in charge of this case was vetted by a member of his team. Like, they had plenty of opportunity to insert people who were not biased into this thing, and they all decided he was guilty. But instead of recognizing, hey, my team had a hand in selecting this jury, this is all corrupt. It's like, how? How did your team select unbiased people and suddenly they're corrupt? Why? Because they gave the fucking answer you don't want?
Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We had a DA who is a failed DA. Crime is rampant in New York, violent crime. That's what he's really supposed to be looking at.
Yo, Imaginista Elise says listening to Trump feels like a cheese grater going the wrong way. Yo, I feel like I'm a cat being pet the wrong way by a child with sticky hands. Like sticky lollipop covered hands, like candy hands. Like, I feel like a cat that wants to be left alone, but like a child with sticky hands is petting me the wrong way. That's how I feel when I listen to Trump. It's like,
Crime is rampant in New York. Yesterday in McDonald's, you had a man hitting him up with machetes, a machete. Whoever can imagine even a machete being wielded in a store, in a place where they're eating, and he's going.
You all know, like, all of you who have had a cat, you know there's a cat or a dog, you know there's a wrong way to pet him. You don't pet up. Unless they like that. You pet down. No, I didn't catch that. Let me back that up. Mark, let me back that up.
People say, oh, he seems like such a nice man. No, unless you saw him in action. And you saw that with a certain witness that went through hell. And when we wanted to do things, he wouldn't let us do those things. But when the government wanted something, they got everything. They got everything they wanted. It was a rigged trial. We wanted a venue change where we could have a fair trial. We didn't get it. We wanted a judge change. We wanted a judge that wasn't conflicted. And obviously he didn't do that. Nobody's ever seen anything like it. We had a DA who is a failed DA. Crime is rampant in New York, violent crime. That's what he's really supposed to be looking at. Crime is rampant in New York. Yes.
He's supposed to be looking at crime, but he looked at my crime, which was not the crime.
Today in McDonald's, you had a man hitting him
Halloween, Mom, I don't blame you. I mean, I wish you could stay, but have a good night, honey. We love you.
up with machetes, a machete.
Machetes?
Whoever
What the
can imagine
fuck?
even a machete being wielded in a store, in a place where they're eating, and he's going rampant and
What the fuck? What about a machete? What are we talking about? Machetes.
is down watching a trial on what they call crimes. They're falsifying business records. That sounds so bad. To me, it sounds very bad. You know, it's only a misdemeanor, but to me, it sounds so bad. When they say falsifying business, that's a bad thing for me. I've never had that before. I'm falsifying. You know what falsifying business records is? In the first degree. They say falsifying business records. Sounds so good, right? It means that legal expense, I paid a lawyer, totally legal. I paid a lawyer a legal expense. And a bookkeeper, without any knowledge from me, correctly marked it down in the books. A very professional woman, highly respected, she testified, marked it down in the books as a legal expense. So a legal expense, paid a lawyer, is a legal expense in the books. It's not sheetrock.
So that's the ultimate defense argument in the hush money trial is like, legally, the system is seeing this as a hush money situation, whereas Trump and his team and anybody who supports Trump sees this as he didn't technically pay hush money. He just simply paid a legal bill. Whatever that legal bill applied to, we don't know, but it was technically a legal bill. It was not a hush money thing. So that's their ultimate defense. Hello, play.
Construction or any other thing. It's a legal expense. Think of that. This is what the falsification of business records were. And I said, what else are you going to call it? What else are you going to call it? Now, I would have testified. I wanted to testify. The theory.
By the way, please like my live stream. I am begging. Like it, please. Just like it. Like the stream! All right, continuing. Continue. Hello.
Is you never testify, because as soon as you testify, anybody, if it were George Washington, don't testify, because they'll get you on something that you said slightly wrong, and then they sue you for perjury. But I didn't care about that. I wanted to. But the judge allowed them to go into everything that I was ever involved in, not this case, everything that I was ever involved in, which is a first. In other words, you could go into every single thing that I ever did. Was he a bad boy here? Was he a bad boy there? And my lawyer said, what?
I mean, frankly, in European countries, if you look at politicians, they have also committed, like, atrocities and crimes. So just because Trump is, like, the first convicted, like, ex-president or candidate or whatever, doesn't mean it's not happening elsewhere in the world. Like, this is kind of like business as usual for other countries. Like, they're like, oh, your candidate has some, like, atrocities, like your candidate has felonies, like your candidate is convicted of crimes. Well, so is everyone else.
What do you need to go through? And all you wanted to do is testify simply on this case, because I would have loved to have testified. To this day, I would have liked to have testified. But you would have said something out of whack, like it was a beautiful sunny day and it was actually raining out. And I very much appreciate the big crowd of people outside. That's incredible what's happening.
Big crowd.
The level of support has been incredible.
Biggest crowd.
So the whole thing is legal expense was marked down as legal expense. Think of it. This is the crime that I committed. that I'm supposed to go to jail for 187 years for.
Wait.
When you
No. Nobody ever mentioned you should go to jail for 187 years. Like, nobody said that. In fact, all legal input on this has stated, like, just because Trump is convicted of these 34 felonies does not mean he's actually going to go to jail. It doesn't. Sorry. Like, I don't think we're going to get that catharsis. Yeah, so Mark says the sentencing is not till July 11th. So July 11th, which is a Thursday, I think, which means the next day we're going to be, like, covering that. Let's see. Oh, my calendar is covered by the thing. Anyways, so July 11th is the Thursday, which means July 12th we will be covering that sentencing. I highly doubt that sentencing is going to be a catharsis in the way where, like, he's actually going to be behind bars. I mean, at worst, in worst case, like, in the most not worst, because worst is a very, I don't know. That could be applied anyway, depending on how you support Trump. But I think the most extreme thing that would ever happen to Trump is he's put, like, on a house arrest, in which case it's like, oh, you have to stay in your, like, big house, like, whatever golf club, like, you're allowed in last. Pretty sure all of his golf clubs are, like, not into him anymore. Like, he's not involved with them anymore. I don't know. I don't keep up on Trump's, like, personal business issues.
Violent crime all over this city at levels that nobody's ever seen before, where you have businesses leaving, and businesses are leaving because of this, because heads of businesses say, man, we don't want to get involved with that. I could go through the books of any business person in this city, and I could find things that, in theory, I guess, let's indict him, let's destroy his life. But I'm out there, and I don't mind being out there because I'm doing something for this country, and I'm doing something for our Constitution.
I'm sorry. But Trump and his hand gestures is, like, the same thing over and over. It's like this, it's this, maybe a little of this, but mostly this, and this, and this, maybe a little of this, I don't know, like this, maybe a little of this, maybe a little of that, we don't know. Like, how are your hand gestures just constantly, like, two things? Like, in and out. In and out. In and out. Maybe a little up, maybe a little down. But just ultimately, like, in and out. Like, that's it.
It's very important. Far beyond me. And this can't be allowed to happen to other presidents. It should never be allowed to happen in the future. But this is far beyond me. This is bigger than Trump. This is bigger than me. This is bigger than my presidency. And the people understand it because I just see a poll just came out, the Daily Mail. That was the first one, came out, was done last night right after the verdict, where I'm up 6 points. 6 points from what we already were. We were leading fairly substantially. We're up 6 points in the Daily Mail poll. Now, maybe other polls come out and it says something differently. But a lot of people have predicted it because the public understands, and they understand what's going on. This is a scam. There's a rigged trial. It shouldn't have been in that venue. We shouldn't have had that judge. He should have allowed us to have an election expert. We had the best expert, most respected expert, head of the Federal Elections Commission. He was all set to testify. He was waiting for 2 days. And when it was his turn,
I don't know why he keeps talking about an election expert, because this trial with Trump and the hush money to Stormy Daniels literally has nothing to do with an election. And we're going to see that as we look at some reactions of Trump supporters, where there is this constant conflation of politics and this trial, when really there's none. There's definitely a coincidence where these trials are coming into place as Trump is running for president, but it's not like these trials are going on just to get rid of Trump, just to deceive you, just to like throw you for a loop. Like, that's not what's going on. Like, the man committed crimes. He's being on trial for them. The end. Hello, play.
Bragg's people protested, and the judge knocked him out, said you can't testify. He actually said you can't testify for anything having to do with the trial. You can say what the federal elections is. Well, that doesn't help. Everybody knows that. But you can't testify. So essentially, he wasn't able to testify. Other people weren't able to testify. But with these people, they were able to use people salacious. By the way, and nothing ever happened. There was no anything. Nothing ever happened, and they know it. But they were as salacious as they could be. And it had nothing to do with the case. But it had to do with politics. And do you notice the timing? The timing was perfect. This case was dead. It was dropped by every agency, every governmental board.
No, it wasn't.
It was dropped by the highly respected Southern District.
No, it wasn't.
They said, no, there's no case here. It was dropped by federal election, and that's what it's about. This is about a federal election, not a state election. You're not even allowed to look at it. They took the state and the city, and they went into a federal election. They're not allowed. The people from federal election, Southern District, and Washington dropped the case. Everybody dropped the case.
Skylar said Trump is playing the accordion. Wah, 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 wah. He was just totally in that accordion right now. It's so funny. That is such a funny visual.
There was no case. Cy Vance dropped the case. And when Bragg came in, he said, this is the most ridiculous case I've ever seen. And who would have a certain person, again, gag order, who would have a certain person like this ever testify? He said, this is essentially one of the worst people I've ever seen ever to testify. He said, the craziest case I've ever seen. This is Bragg. Then when I announced I was running for president, long time later, they decided to revive this case. And they got a judge, Judge Marchand, who was responsible for another case that was also brought. It destroyed the life of a very good man, by the way. Destroyed the life of a very good man.
What man?
Who went to prison once.
Okay.
And then they just put him in prison again because they said he lied. He didn't lie. I looked at the statements he made. In fact, he didn't remember something, and they put him in jail. Again, they've destroyed him. With me for many years, he was an honorable person. He was an honest man.
What the fuck are you talking about?
And if you look at what he did, supposedly,
Who did
it never
what?
happened. There's never been anything like this. Over the education of his grandchildren. Over, he didn't report that he had a car or two cars on his income. I don't know. I wonder how many people here have cars. I wonder how many people said, oh, gee, I have a car. That's
Yo, people get after Joe Biden for being deranged, which I totally agree. Like, Joe Biden is an old deranged fart, but it's like, what the fuck is this? Like, who is he talking about?
worth X dollars. How do you even figure it? And I guess you do have to report it, but I would say probably almost nobody does. Nobody even thinks about it. They put this man, they destroyed this man.
Maybe in the third person.
But they put him in jail again because they didn't want him to testify. They didn't want him to testify. That's why he went to jail. They put him in jail twice. He's 77 years old. Now, normally I'd say that's an old guy, but I don't feel 77.
You're old. Trump is old. He's an old fart. He is no more of an old fart than Biden, but he is still fucking an old fart.
Nobody ever says that about me. I'd like them to say, gee, we have to have a little sorrow for this man, because they just don't say that about me, but maybe.
We do. I've said that. I've said that from the get-go. I'm like, here's an old fucking fart in a toupee with a diaper, pumped up on drugs, like, as a president. What do you mean? Plenty of people have said that about you.
I'm better off that way. I think I'm probably better off that way. But they put him in jail.
You wear a diaper and you stand in a fucked up way where you're leaning forward with your fucking gut.
Twice. And you have to see what they put him in jail. And he was threatened by the judge. This man was told, you're going to get 15 years in jail.
Have you guys not seen that? I'm pretty sure you have. Like, the way Trump stands. Ah, shit. Trump standing oddly. I don't know. Bro stands so weird. Like, bro stands so weird. Like, what is this? Why does he stand like that? Form of frontotemporal dementia? What the fuck? I don't know about that, dude. But he does stand fucking weird. Like, he stands oddly forward. Like that. Like, what the fuck is that? The fuck is this? What the fuck is this?
You don't give up Trump. And he was told that. You're going to get 15 years in jail. And
where? No one said that.
he made a plea deal because he didn't want to spend the rest of his life. And he was told that viciously. We're living in a fascist state. He was told that viciously. So you can go to jail for 4 months, 5 months.
Hi, Susan.
Or you can get 15 years in jail. So do a plea. Almost who wouldn't do that plea? Everyone does those pleas. It's a horrible thing. There's a whole group of lawyers that fight that. It's so unfair. It's so unfair. But they destroyed his life. So many other things. You look at Southern District didn't want to bring the case. Nobody wanted to bring the case. And then you know who didn't want to bring the case? Most of all is Bragg. Bragg didn't want to bring it. But then he brought
Alvin
it.
Bragg.
And they tried to make it a different case. They didn't say legal expense equal legal expense.
Alvin Bragg Jr. is who convicted Trump.
Again.
Or persecuted, sorry.
If I wrote down and paid a lawyer, and by the way, this was a highly qualified lawyer. Now, I'm not allowed to use his name because of the gag order. But, you know, he's a sleazebag. Everybody knows that. Took me a while to find out. But he was effective. He did work. But he wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. You know, they like to use the word fixer. He wasn't a fixer. He was a lawyer. At the time, he was a a fully accredited lawyer. Now, he got into trouble not because of me. He got into trouble because he made outside deals and he had something to do with taxi cabs and medallions, and he borrowed money. And that's why he went. And then he pled to three election violations. And as soon as I saw that, I said, I wonder why he did that. He pled. He took a deal. Now, he took a deal because he wanted to get off. In other words, I'll take a plea deal and I want to get off. And he wanted to make a deal with the Southern District. And they wrote the worst report I think I've ever seen on any human being, other than the report that was written on James Comey by the Inspector General, a very great inspector.
Mark says, why do his legs and gut occupy a completely different dimension? Different. Yo, it's like when you stick a pencil in water and look at it from the side. Straight up, this is what it looks like when Trump stands. Oh, stop it. This is what it looks like when Trump stands. Like, here's his upper body, and then, like, here's his legs. Like, that's what it looks like when Trump stands. Like, it's like fucking, like, water refraction. Yeah, that's what it looks like when Trump stands up. Okay, we're almost done with this, and then we're going to move on to...
Inspector General actually wrote a report.
We're going to finish this, and then we're going to move on to how Trump supporters are reacting to this. But first, we're going to finish this.
It was so bad. This one was possibly worse. The Southern District, the judge didn't let us use it. He said, it's hearsay. I said, it's not hearsay. Wouldn't let us use it. This is about the man. But he got in trouble for a very simple reason, because he was involved with borrowing a lot of money, and he did something with the banks. I don't know if it's defrauded the banks, but something happened. You guys know what it is. And then in addition to that, he gave up on three things where he wasn't guilty. In fact, they were going to testify in that. The head of the FEC, the Brad Smith, the election expert, #1 rated in the country, who was going to testify. He took a plea on three things. He just added them in because that gave him more bargaining power with respect to me. But the three things that he pled on, having to do with the election and having to do essentially a little bit with me, they weren't crimes. They weren't crimes. Nor is paying money under an NDA. So we have an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. It's a big deal, a non-disclosure agreement. Totally honorable, totally good, totally accepted. Everybody has them. Every company has non-disclosure agreements. But the press called it slush fund and all sorts of other things. Hush money, hush money. It's not hush money. It's called a non-disclosure agreement. And most of the people in this room have a non-disclosure agreement with their company. It's a disgrace. So it's not hush money. It's a non-disclosure agreement, totally legal.
That's the whole Trump apologist take, is that it wasn't technically hush money. It was just simply a legal expense. It was just a non-disclosure agreement and thing. And like Stormy Daniels has to say otherwise. I have to pee again. I'm going to be right back. Stay here. Don't go anywhere. Like my stream. I'm kind of bored with this.
Totally common. Everyone has it.
Is anybody else bored of this?
And what happened is he signed a non-disclosure agreement with this person, I guess other people, but it's totally honest. You're allowed to make the payment. You don't have to make.
Okay, you know what? Screw this. We get it. Yeah, we get it. All right. Yo, what did Biden have to say? Let's watch that for a minute.
Good afternoon. Before I begin my remarks, I just want to say a few words about what happened yesterday in New York City. The American principle that no one is above the law was reaffirmed. Donald Trump was given every opportunity to defend himself. It was a state case, not a federal case, and it was heard by a jury of 12 citizens, 12 Americans, 12 people like you, like millions of Americans who served on juries. This jury is chosen the same way every jury in America is chosen. It was a process that Donald Trump's attorney was part of. The jury heard.
Brent's like, we need to start electing some younger criminals. Yo, like, never mind electing criminals as leaders. Like, can we at least get some young criminals? Meanwhile, by the way, Biden isn't so innocent. Meanwhile, while this shit with Trump is going on, Biden just totally made it, like, okay for the Russians to use American weapons in this war against Ukraine. There's a reason why people call Joe Biden Genocide Joe, because it's totally fucking true. Every action and every decision Joe Biden has made towards, like, the Ukraine situation or the Gaza situation has always been in support of the oppressor and always been in support of, like, genocide. So it's so funny because, like, people look at me and I live stream a lot about talking against Elon Musk, like Trump, like all these right-wing figures. But then they're like, well, you must like Joe Biden then. You must love Joe Biden. It's like, no, I don't. And it is fair. It is very fair that I definitely do not talk about Joe Biden as much as I do Trump or like Elon Musk or all these right-wing figures or stuff like that. It is true. And frankly, it is time where I should make a live stream on the atrocities of Joe Biden. I think we're going to do that next week. We're going to talk about, like, why I don't like or support Joe Biden, just to make the playing field even a bit. But it's really interesting where I constantly talk against Trump, and then people instantly are like, well, you must like Joe Biden. And it's like, no, you don't have to do that either. Like, it's not like this dichotomy. Like, it's not like option A, B, or nothing. Like, anyways, back to Joe. He is sleepy, though. Like, Joe is sleepy.
5 weeks of evidence. 5 weeks. And after careful deliberation, the jury reached a unanimous verdict.
Let's see. Exploring the Holocaust, Andy says, Andy, right? Oh my God. Maybe now that Trump is convicted, the rest of the politicians can be held accountable. No, I don't think so. Because as much as it is cathartic to see Trump being, like, the verdict being guilty across, like, all 34 accounts, as cathartic as that feels, it's not going to give us the catharsis that we actually want. We're not actually going to see Trump being put behind bars in an orange jumpsuit, eating prison sandwiches. Like, we're not going to get that exactly. This is definitely good, but like I was trying to mention earlier, in other countries, like European countries, like in other governments, being a politician with like extreme crimes, like convictions of crimes, is sort of like part of the package. Like it's kind of just like nonchalant. Like, yeah, so what? Your politician has done some like horrible shit. Like, so what? So it just happens to be like this is the first president in history, or ex-president in history, to be convicted of felonies. But political figures, leader figures, president figures, like all these like leadership figures, like it's not unusual for them to be convicted of like hideous crimes. If you're talking about the whole world in general, it's just in America we're like, oh, this is a thing. Like, like we're so Puritan in America. Even if you're not religious, even if you don't like have any sort of like mainstream religion, even if you don't like have like a super strong like center of morality, you can still understand that like we hold American politicians in this very holier than thou like purity, sort of like they are pure like type of thing. So we don't want any politicians having any crooked crimes, any convictions, anything anywhere, when in other parts of the world that's kind of like part of the bread. Yo, that's part of the ingredients. Like that's just kind of what you get. Like, so I think America, it's less, let's see, what was the word? So Andy said, it was Andy, yeah, said we need to see politicians held accountable for crimes. Oh, no. Maybe now that Trump is convicted, the rest of the politicians can be held accountable. That's what Andy said. Okay. We're already living in this idea as Americans that all of our politicians are pure. Where in other countries, that's a luxury, right? Like, you don't get the luxury in other countries of like seeing your politicians are pure. So I think America, this is just a part where America is realizing that it's not the end all and be all of human ideology, of like humanitarianism, it's not the end all and be all of the rest of the world. I think finding out that our previous president is convicted of federal crimes, I think we're just coming into awareness that we're like everybody else. I think when you grow up American, you grow up in a little bubble where like America is the world. And part of realizing that like our politicians and our leaders are not perfect, I think that's kind of getting us on the same page as the rest of the world. So I feel like America is just catching up. Like I guess what I'm trying to say, in many ways, I think Americans, even if you recognize atrocities, even if you recognize the bullshit in America, like even if you recognize the shit in American politics, like you are still to a degree naive because you're more worried about what's going on in America than the rest of the world. And what's going on in the rest of the world doesn't necessarily align with the morality that's going on in America. It's a very small world here in America. Exactly. So Lee says like this is a collective self-awareness developing. So it's like, it's hard to explain. We're not the only country with leaders who have committed atrocities. This has been going on in European countries well before America was formed. But I feel like when America was formed, there was this idea that America is the better country, is the more pure country, is the country that's going to do things better. But really, it's just carrying on what European, like old world countries have been doing politically for a millennia before America was even developed. So I think this is just sort of like a naive thing where it's like we're realizing like America is not as pure and like new as we think it is. Like, it really isn't. Like, it's just an extension of old world ideas.
They found Donald Trump guilty on all 34 felony counts. Now he'll be given the opportunity, as he should, to appeal that decision just like everyone else has that opportunity. That's how the American system of justice works. And it's reckless, it's dangerous, it's irresponsible for anyone to say this was rigged just because they don't like the verdict. Our justice system has endured for nearly 250 years. And it literally is the cornerstone of America.
Oh my God. Right. Okay, let's talk about this. How old is America exactly? How old is America right now? Since 76, but like how old is it like right now? Like 200 and what? What's the math? Somebody do the math for me. Somebody do the math for me. Like how old will America be turning? 2004 26 will be the 250th anniversary. So America is almost 250 years old. Like, almost 250 years old. That's not that old. When it comes in terms of humanity, like the human existence as a whole, 250 years is nothing. Like, we, as an American, like, nation, in history, are a complete blip on the radar. In another 300 years from now, we could very well not be a fucking American country anymore. The world could be vastly different in 300 years. It could be, the borders could be different. The countries could be different. Like 250 years is not a long time in comparison to human history. Like, this really isn't a permanence. It's just, we just happen to be here now in this thing. But it's like, it's weird. Like, you gotta think of it in a more like a Neogenian, like, collective experience of like, thinking about like all of human history, of how things work, of how like empires work, like borders work, things like that. This isn't that long, and it can change. In 300 years from now, there could very well not be a quote-unquote America. It could be revitalized as something else. We could just call ourselves the Northern Territory, where it encompasses all of America and Canada. Like, we just don't know. 250 years is not long at all. Like, there could very well be no America country in 300 years from now. In 300 years from now, the idea of America could seem very archaic and juvenile. We got to keep that in mind. We are not, us right now, when I'm talking to you and you're watching me, we are not the end all and be all of human existence. Humanity and countries and borders and politics and nations, cultures, all of that, 300 years from now is going to change drastically. If we were to jump from now to like 300 or 500 years later, we would see the world as completely fucking alien to us. And in 300 years from now, the people are going to look back on us right now and think like, my God, those people were just like stupid. Like, it was like the Dark Ages, you know? Like, we got to keep that in mind. This is where we are at right now, is not the end all and be all of human existence. Like, we're going to change, we're going to evolve, we're going to grow, and you and I eventually are going to be old farts. We're going to be old farts that don't know what the fuck we're talking about, even as open-minded and advanced and just like progressive as we think we are. Like, even if you're the most progressive individual, there's going to be a time where your great 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 grandchildren are going to look back at you and think, you know, grandpa was pretty cool, but he just didn't like know any better. You know what I mean? Like, it's going to come that day and age. It's going to come that day and age where somebody looks at me and thinks, well, it was good for the moment, but Jan was very outdated. You know what I mean?
America, our justice system. The justice system should be respected, and we should never allow anyone to tear it down. It's as simple as that. That's America. That's who we are. And that's who we'll always be, God willing.
Nah. So check this out. Trump supporters call for riots and violent retribution after verdict. Of course they do. May 31st, supporters from former President Donald Trump, enraged by his conviction on 34 felony accounts by a New York jury, flooded pro-Trump websites with calls for riots, revolution, and violent retribution. Well, why would they not? After Trump became the first president to be convicted of a crime, his supporters responded with dozens of violent online posts. According to a Reuters review of comments on 3 Trump-aligned websites, the former president's own Truth Social platform, Patriots, Win, and The Gateway Pundit, some call for attacks on jurors, the execution of the judge, Justice Juan Merchan, or outright civil war and armed insurrection. So they're mad. I mean, the Trump supporters are mad. And they're kind of having the same mentality as they did with the January 6th insurrection. You know, like, it's headed there again. Like, if you think January 6th insurrection was bad enough, I think we're going to be really naive if we think that's like as bad as it's going to get. I think it's going to get worse. I think this election, honestly, the election we're going to see this year at the end of November is going to be one of the most intense fucking elections ever. And my God, we should just already emotionally and mentally prepare ourselves for that now. Someone in New York with nothing to lose needs to take care of Merchan, wrote the commentator on Patriots. Hopefully he gets met with illegals with a machete, the post said. Okay, so somebody's like, oh my God. So, like, if Trump isn't elected, then pretty much the logic is you're going to get met with a random, like, Mexican guy with a machete in the face. Like if Trump is not, they make it sound like if Trump is not elected, then some, like, Mexican drug lord is going to be instantly in your face with a machete. Like, you know what? Fuck this shit. Let's go to this reactions. I want video reactions. Here we go. Oh my God, there's so many videos to watch. Lee is like, Jan is here for the drama. Honestly, like I am. I have a bunch of articles to read, but I'm like, I don't want to sit here and read. I just want to watch the tears. Like honestly, like I'm just here for the shade.
Jesus and Lord.
God, thank you.
Bible, Holy Bible is all guy. Yeah. Jesus.
We need you. You need you ahead. God, we need you ahead.
Remember when Trump was elected, like, originally, and there was that, like, liberal cry, literally shaking, like, sort of thing. This. Oh, that's a meme thing. But, like, remember when there was this, like, iconic image of a liberal, like, crying when Trump was elected? Like, this sort of image. Well, tables have turned. Because, like, this is literally what this is now. Like, this is the same thing. And honestly, this is where I think, like, I'm not liberal. Like, I'm not liberal at all. But I can see where it's like the liberal catharsism, where they're like, MAGA people constantly accuse them of crying and being sensitive. And look at you now. Look at you crying and being sensitive about Donald Trump. Look at you crying and literally shaking right now.
Thank you.
Lee says they're literally praying. Hey, Lee, this is not a cult, remember? Remember, it's not a cult. This isn't a cult, okay? Just telling you, it's not a cult. God damn.
That the prosecutor said that they don't have any surrogates, and yet day after day they have a surrogate who comes out here and addresses the media. But
all right, hold on. Jesus Christ, this thing jumps around.
In an important footnote to this letter, footnote 2, this statement is false. Ms. Haley did file a civil lawsuit against the defendant, but not until December 30th, 2020, 9 months after her testimony and 8 months after the guilty verdict. The suit, which sought compensation for the pain, suffering, and economic injuries caused by defendant's sexual assault, was voluntarily dismissed and discontinued with prejudice less than a year later.
Okay, girl. Let's go over here. What is this? Lady with the big tits. Big titty lady.
So many young people.
Ah! No. Oh my fuck. No. Oh my fuck. Oh my god, my whole stream is gonna like fucking go down now because that was not censored. Great. Fucking great. I'm gonna have to like clip that out. Jesus Christ. Nipples on fucking YouTube. How is that even allowed? Are you kidding me? Was that really fucking nipples just now? My whole stream is fucked now. Like, we're getting shut down. Like, oh my fuck. I have never clicked on a link on YouTube and seen just straight up, like, bare titties. Like, uncensored. Like, I figured those would be censored. Way to get banned, Jan. I am! I'm gonna get fucking canceled now. Like, I am fucking canceled now. Like, I am just like... No, okay, because I personally am not, like, against seeing titties, but, like, this live stream, like, there are rules. How the fuck was that actual titties? Oh my fuck, my heart is pounding. My stream is gonna get banned now. Just you wait. It's gonna get shut down right now. There is fucking nipples on my fucking... In all the years that I have live streamed on this channel, I have never accidentally shown nipples. I literally, like, never in the history of ever of me live streaming have I ever accidentally shown nipples through a YouTube video. I am fucked. Like, I am just, like, my whole stream is gonna get, like, fucking, like, knocked down now. Jesus Christ. Oh my god. Oh my god. That's it. That's it. I need a drink. I need a shot of whiskey. Here we go. I'll be right back. This is just fucking titties? Really? Oh my god. Come back. Fucking titties, Christ on a fucking crapple. Titties, really? On my stream? Titties on my goddamn stream. Titties on my stream. I am so cooked. This is like a historic moment in my live streaming career. I am honestly stressed. Like, there was just nipples on my stream just now. Mark, I saw a little clip on YouTube and it straight up showed nipples. I've never had that experience in my life. I'm so cooked right now. I'm so canceled. Oh my fuck. Sailor Moon drink. Take me away. What do I want? Canadian Dry. Let's go. I am shooketh. I am shooketh. I have always been conscious and careful about what I show on my streams. And I trusted this YouTube link to blur out nipples, and straight up there is bare titty nipples on my stream. Yes, I am freaking out. Oh my god, I need some whiskey. Hold on. Okay. You're laughing so hard. I'm laughing inside, but I'm not, because I'm like, my live stream is going to be blocked. Like, I swear to God, I'm gonna finish this live stream, and it's like, you're blocked. Yo, Bridget, I'm all about freeing the nipples. I don't have any problem with nipples, except for when I'm live streaming and YouTube has rules and they don't like you to see nipples. How is this video on here? Really? Did we just, like, see that? Okay, well... anyways, well... well, I guess we better move on. I don't know what else to do. Pray to Jesus. Dear Gnostic Jesus, please forgive us for this nipple fiasco. Anyways, we're going to move on. So here's an interesting video. Here's an interesting video about a British lady who walks through and reacts to things, but I think she's royal family. I don't know. Let's check it out. So a random British woman decided to troll, or not troll as in troll, but like walk through a bunch of Trump supporters. The problem is, though, is like British people also have their right and left wing politic parties, so it doesn't really say much to me to have like a random British woman walk through American political environments or campaigns, because it's like, I don't know where she stands. It's not like British people are completely outside the scopes of like right wing and left wing politics, because they're in that themselves in their own way, so it's a little bit weird.
Fuck the royals! Fuck the royal family!
Fuck your royal family.
Fuck the UK!
I was being nice to you, nasty old fucking
They're disgusting, aren't they? What disgusting people.
What do you think about the response that happened? You were having a conversation with them.
Well, we were actually here purely for entertainment value. We're from England.
Keep going, Joe.
Oh, God.
Take your team right there. Get the fuck out of my
We got it.
Fuck the queen. Fuck the king.
Yo, look. I'm not gonna be into this exactly, but there is something to say where it's like, yo, we're American. Get the fuck out of here. Like, we already fucking like threw you off us. Yo, like, we already threw you off our shoulders, bitch. 1700s, bitch. Like, get your queen out of here. Get your shit out of here, okay? Americans all the way.
fucking cunt!
She's leaving. Just stop.
Fuck out of here! Burn in hell, you liberal fuck!
Alright, bro, stop.
I love the idea of, like, a New Yorker, like, to a proper, like, prim, proper, like, British lady being like, yeah, get out of here! Get the fuck out of here! Fuck the royals, yeah! And this British lady is like, oh my, oh goodness gracious me. Yeah, get the fuck out of here, lady. Oh my goodness. Oh my British me, oh my.
And we enjoy watching Trump on the TV, and we cannot... John!
Very funny. Haha. Let's watch more liberal tears. Or not liberal tears.
Okay, stand back.
I said liberal tears because that I accidentally said liberal tears because that's what it usually is. And I think that's what's so funny about this incident is because this isn't liberal tears. This is MAGA tears. Like, but the phrase liberal tears is so like automatic, and it's been such a staple that now that MAGA people are crying, it's like it's such a cathartic like feeling the other way. I'm not liberal, but it's like, no, these are MAGA tears, but it's so funny. I just said liberal tears accidentally. I actually said liberal tears. That's so funny. This isn't liberal tears, it's MAGA tears. Let's go.
Victim. Holy shit, he was found guilty. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Motherfuckers! Motherfuckers! You suck! You suck! There is no justice in this country!
Guilty!
Not guilty!
Not
He's
guilty,
not guilty!
motherfucker!
You pieces of shit! Won the con!
Look at these white ass dudes. So fucking like triggered. Look at these white old ass men. So fucking triggered. Yo, white old men always they always say that minorities cry. They always say Black Lives Matters cries. They always say like trans people cry. They always say LGBTQ cries. They always say other people cry. Look at you now, dude. Look at you now. Look at you crying right now. Look at you crying just like you say black people cry, gay people cry, trans people cry. Look at you saying how other people cry. Look at you crying right now in the same way. You're crying in the same way, dude. You are being so sensitive. You're being a little fucking snowflake crying about shit that's going on right now that has nothing to do with you.
He's shitting!
Look at these grown ass white men cry. I fucking love it. I'm gonna repeat it again. Oh my god.
If they convict him,
I love it. Look at these grown white men cry. You're so angry. It's so delicious. Your anger. Your anger and your rage. And your frustration and your sadness. It's so delicious to me. Fucking keep it going, dude.
Holy shit, he was found guilty. Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Motherfuckers! Motherfuckers! You suck! You suck! There is no justice in this country!
Guilty!
Not guilty! He's
Straight up, Skylar says, who's the special little snowflake bitch boy now? Go back to fucking daycare. Exactly. Look at you. Pansy ass little bitch boy. Little pansy ass can't handle shit. Little snowflake crying. You're so sensitive. Oh, squish, squish. You're so sensitive. Like, fuck you, dude.
I'm guilty! You pieces of shit! Won the con!
I gotta say, though, I'm not liberal at all, but, like, liberals everywhere are fucking jizzing all over the place. Like, they're coming and jizzing and ejaculating all over because of this. And frankly, I think they deserve it.
Eat shit and die! You're fucking corrupt,
Your
motherfucker!
fucking kids are all dead.
Eat shit and die! That is such an old person thing to say. No, that is straight up like a very old... Like, no offense to all you old people out there, because, like, I love old people straight up, like, no disrespect, but, like, it is such an old-fashioned thing to be like, eat shit! Eat shit is such an old-fashioned thing to say, and I love it, and I think it should be revived. Eat shit! You know what that reminds me of? It reminds me of my favorite thing by Divine. Filth is my politics, filth is my life. Eat shit. Okay, so like this is, okay, so ironically, I gotta very emphasize, ironically, I like this political position because it's just simply from a movie. This movie is actually one of my favorite movies. Have any of you ever seen Pink Flamingos? Pink Flamingos is actually one of my favorite movies. The whole movie is about taking your protagonist and making him the most, like, unlikable person ever, but you still want them to win because there's an protagonist that's against that. Like, Pink Flamingos is a perfect example of a anti-hero archetype. But anyways, I gotta watch this like briefly because this is like, it reminds me of this. Eat shit.
Could you give us some of your political beliefs? Kill everyone!
Okay, so the person's like, can you give us some of your political beliefs? Kill everyone now.
Could you give us some of your political...
Oh, why is the thing, like, in another language? Anyways, just listen to this.
Could you give us some of your political beliefs? Kill everyone now! Condone first-degree murder! Advocate cannibalism! Eat shit! Filth are my politics! Filth is my life! Take whatever you like! Yes. How's this for a center spread?
Oh, Christ almighty.
That's what that reminds me of when that guy says eat shit. Like, kill everyone now. Eat shit. Condone cannibalism. Filth is my politics. Filth is my life.
God, eat shit and die! You're fucking corrupt.
Your fucking kids are all dead.
Eat shit.
Your kids are all
Piece
fucking
of
dead.
shit.
All your
Piece of
fucking
shit.
children, they're all fucking
I
dead.
found guilty.
They're all fucking dead.
Yeah, motherfucker.
Fucking guilty.
Motherfucking piece of shit.
Fucking guilty.
Fucking piece of shit. There's no justice in this country.
Not
It's all
fucking
corruption. It's all fucking corruption.
Yeah. There's no justice in this country. This guy is amazing. I'm sorry. I gotta back it up because this guy is fucking phenomenal. Like, I love this. Here, hold on.
Okay, he's found guilty.
If they convict him,
Holy
you will
shit, he was
see
found guilty.
newspapers.
Holy fucking shit. Holy fucking shit. Motherfuckers! Motherfuckers! You suck! You suck! There is no justice in this country!
Guilty!
Not guilty!
Not
He's
guilty,
not guilty!
motherfucker!
You pieces of shit! What
He's
the con!
innocent.
Eat shit and die! You're
Eat shit. Filth is my politics. Filth is my life. God, I fucking love this.
fucking corrupt
Your
motherfucker!
fucking kids are all dead. Your kids are all
Piece
fucking
of
dead.
shit!
All your
Piece of
fucking
shit!
children, they're all...
By the way, the movie called Pink Flamingos is directed by John Waters, starred by Divine. It's one of my most favorite fucking movies ever. I love Pink Flamingos so much. If you want to watch a good movie, watch Pink Flamingos. But I warn you, it's not a nice movie. It's not like if you want to be into filth, basically the whole point of like most of John Waters films, John Waters is the director of these films. His principle in making films is to make the most like morally abhorrent thing. And it's fucking amazing. It's like exploring shadow. It's like exploring the thing that like you shouldn't explore. So if you want to know a movie that I love so much, and if you want to watch it and share it with me, Pink Flamingos is one of the best goddamn films ever. That and another movie I love so fucking much is called Female Trouble. Female Trouble, also directed by John Waters, also starred by Divine. One of the most fucking like beautiful films to encapsulate everything that you shouldn't like. It's everything that you should think like the hero shouldn't do. It's the ultimate anti-hero context. The whole archetype of an anti-hero is it's a hero that you shouldn't like. It's the hero of the story. It's the hero of a story that has done bad things and is not morally great, but like it is the hero of the story. So it's like you kind of have to root for them. So like the anti-hero is something I'm really interested in. If you want to see a good example of the anti-hero archetype, watch Pink Flamingos and watch Female Trouble. Two of my most favorite fucking movies ever.
All fucking
I
dead.
found guilty!
They're all fucking dead.
Yeah, motherfucker!
Fucking guilty.
Motherfucking piece of shit!
Fucking guilty.
Fucking piece of shit! There's no justice in this country!
Not
It's all
fucking
corruption! It's all
This guy sounds like Divine. There's no justice!
fucking corruption.
It's corruption.
I have a message for you. Fuck you, Juan the Con. Juan the Con. I'm fucking pissed.
Fuck you and fuck Joe Biden.
Fuck Joe Biden.
All I know is this.
Fuckers. Yeah.
Guilty on a whole nother animal and a whole new way.
It's a lynching. It's political interference.
It's
Fuck you.
over.
There's no justice in this country.
It's over.
How do you feel?
Corruption.
Tell me your reaction.
I'm shocked. I don't want to believe it. That's unbelievable.
I think it's super duper.
What do you think about the verdict?
They're doing this.
Corruption, the judge
means that
threatened
they
them.
could do this to all of us.
1776,
I'm
baby.
fucking pissed. I'm fucking pissed.
Girl. Yo, I don't like to judge people purely off appearances, but she looks like she's done a hit of crack or two.
Now, calm down.
No, I'm not gonna calm down.
And the people who are on the ground, the minority, can't do this.
The only man that ever stood up for me in my fucking life,
Through and through.
Donald fucking Trump.
Fucking Obama!
Fuck Obama. Fuck Obama.
Yo, that motherfucker just won the election, I'll tell you that much.
Bro is emotional. Bro is so fucking emotional right now. He's Donald Trump. He's the only man that stood up for me in my entire life. Oh, Donald Trump. Oh my god, I can't believe that. Bro is fucking emotional right now. Like, what the fuck? He is crying.
The only man that ever stood up for me in my fucking life,
Through and through.
Donald fucking Trump.
Fuck Obama. Fuck Obama.
Yo,
Do you hear the people in the background? They're like, fuck Obama. Yo, Obama is done. What the fuck are you talking about, Obama, right now?
motherfucker just won the election, I'll tell you that much. Fuck Joe Biden.
Fuck Joe Biden. Not guilty.
I hope the country doesn't burn down.
Not guilty.
I hope that we can find a way to love each other and to make right this fucking this prostitution.
So the guy says, like, hopefully we can, like, love each other. I don't understand that. I don't understand how these people are like, oh, if we support Trump, that means we also support the love of unity. Like, we support unity, we support togetherness, like that and the other. Because, like, everything Trump has done so far has been pretty much the opposite of unity. Because everything Trump has done so far has been things that he's done to benefit himself and not necessarily the collective of humanity. So it's a little weird to me to see people get really personally, like, emotional about this. Oh my god, Philip. Philip, you are late. Philip is late. Everybody shame Philip. Shame Philip. Shame.
Go fuck yourself and your mother.
Is one of us. He's one of us. And now they have only made the poll numbers go higher. I guarantee that's what you're going to see coming next. The polls are going up. Donald Trump is going to win even harder. They're going to have to bring in Michelle Obama. They're going to have to bring in Michelle Obama, Big Mike, in August to try and fix things. But that's not going to work either. The numbers are going to go so high for Trump right now that it's over for Biden. It's over for the Democrats.
Fuck you, Judge Juan. Fuck you. There is no justice in this country. We want a democracy. This is America. You railroaded this man. He committed no crimes. Fuck you. I'm mad as hell, as they say. I'm mad as hell. Let's take to the streets. Let's take to the fucking streets. I'm pissed. I'm pissed. Let's take to the fucking streets. Good. Let's block traffic. Corruption in this country. They're convicted an innocent man. He committed no crimes.
Congratulations. Trump just won the election.
What do you think, Bill?
I think it's time for dancing in the streets. Dancing in the streets.
Oh, fuck him! Fuck Trump every day! Fucking kill the guy next! I'm down for whatever! Just get him that fucker out of here!
Hold on, I'm having a problem. My vape seems to be exploding in my hands right now. This vape is fucking bursting. No joke. I'm sorry. Like, no joke. I had a vape that was like near the end of its like lifetime, and I was like hitting it, and then like I picked it up and it felt really hot, like more hot than usual, and I'm like, oh, that's weird. So then I kind of opened it up and it was smoking. I'm like, this isn't good. So I just took it outside and I pulled it apart, like out on my like porch right now, and the battery was smoking. So like I had to hurry and take like a knife and like cut like the wire. I'm not even joking. I almost just started a fire right now in my house because of like some weird defected vape. Like, no, straight up, like no lie. Like, I don't, like, no joke. Like, I literally like hit the vape and I set it on my desk, and then all of a sudden I'm like, I picked it up again. I'm like, this is oddly hot. And then, like, I was able to pull apart the vape, like, the top of it off, and it was, like, smoking. I'm like, this isn't good. So just now I took it outside, and it was, like, sparking, and, like, the battery was sparking. And I'm like, I had to, like, cut the wires apart. Like, that was so dramatic just now. I gotta go back and check on it because, like, it's outside right now. I gotta check on it and make sure we're okay. Okay, go to P screen. Go to the P screen. There is a battery from a vape outside right now on fire. My nicotine vape just caught fire. It's outside. It's on fire right now. I don't know what is going on tonight's stream, but apparently we are on fire. Jan has got boobs and firebombs tonight. Yo, titties, firebombs, like, honestly, call the police, because it's like, it's a little too crazy at Jan's stream tonight. Like, call the police. Don't let Russell. No, the birds are fine. They went to bed. Straight up, my vape, like, the first time in my fucking life, my vape just caught fire. Like, literally, at my desk just now. I'm like, this is really hot. This is hot. Maybe I should take it outside. I untwisted it and opened it up. It's like flaming. I'm like, oh. So I went outside. It's on fire. There's a battery on fire outside my door right now. It's contained. It's contained. It's not going to light my whole building on fire, but like... Oh my fuck. Tonight is crazy. We got bare titties on my stream. We got my vape catching on fire, bare titties, fires. Like, what is happening tonight? This is entirely too much excitement. I'm not even joking. Like, titties on stream, vapes caught on fire, like, your vape's on fire, titties on screen. What the hell is happening tonight? Like, this is the craziest fucking live stream ever. Like, honestly, like, this is a nutso live stream. Call the police.
He's not guilty at all. I was in the court every day. He's not guilty. There's no evidence. No evidence. They all lie. It's a blue state. They chose all the juries. It's a hate Trump. They hate Trump. That's why they say they're guilty. It's not guilty. Yeah.
And he'll be back.
Yeah, he'll be back. Trump 2024. Never stop. Never give up.
Okay. All right, lady.
Yes.
Okay.
Gave me a nice little lock.
Stephen Yang only.
Okay. I had it perfect.
All right, let's get out of here. Let's look at some TikToks. Let's look at some TikToks about this.
What a sad, sad, sad day it is to be an American citizen. And just like Kimberly said, the only verdict that matters is the ballot box on November 5th. Like, let's give it up for our justice system. Is this not further proof as to why and how Democrats will do anything that they can in their power to silence and shut down their political opponent? Like, what? You know what I feel like is a bigger issue and nobody's talking about it, especially it being our U.S. president, current U.S. president?
I think it's really stupid of people to think about the trial against Trump right now and the verdict against Trump. I think it's really stupid of people to conflate it with a political move. I think the only reason people think it's a political move is because Trump happens to be a political figure, and that's the only connection and correlation with it being political, because like ultimately Trump did this hush money crime and these other crimes outside of being a political figure, right? Like he did it as a businessman. The fact that he's running for president again, I think is completely besides the point. And I think people want it to be a political distraction because they don't want to think about what's actually going on in the world. Now, simultaneously as Trump is being convicted of these felony crimes, Joe Biden also is making a move to make USA weapons available to Russia against Ukraine. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, Trump is just a distraction to distract you from what Biden is doing. It's like, is it though? Is it a distraction, or is it only a distraction for people who just hate Trump? Because I'm not a person who just hates Trump. I'm a person who's looking at everything altogether. So it's like, what do you people have to say to me who does not support Biden, who does not condone what Biden does, who thinks he's definitely genocide Joe? Like, what do you think about that? I guess I just get irritated when people say like, oh, the trial against Trump is just a political distraction. It's like, no, it's not. He actually did that shit. He committed crimes. He's being tried for them. Like, what's your point? Like, I just don't think you want to deal with that fact.
How about the U.S. President Joe Biden? His daughter, the diaries got leaked. Her journal diary got leaked. Talks about sexual abuse and how her dad used to
Yeah, so Andy says, are you sure Ukraine is not being allowed to use our weapons against Russia? Ukraine is being the one shit on right now, but it's not the case. Like, American weapons are being sold to Russia, just as American weapons and financial aid is being sent to Israel. America is in full support of the genocide going on in Israel and Russia, straight up.
Shall are used to or still, I don't know. You don't know. And I don't know if the left does this, but it seems like the only exercise that they do is
look at her collection of hats back there. What the fuck is happening?
After this guilty verdict, Donald Trump has just won the 2024 election. Mark my word. This is our final battle. So America, you better wake the hell up or you could kiss our country goodbye. After this guilty verdict, Donald Trump...
Okay.
Holy shit, he was found
this
guilty.
Guy again.
Holy mother you suck! You suck! There is no justice in this country!
Guilty!
Not guilty!
Not
He's
guilty,
not guilty! You pieces of shit!
Perfectly unoffended, not sensitive MAGA men at all.
I feel like it's time to make something clear.
Okay.
MAGA.
Okay.
What does that mean? It's been used so
cult.
much as a political tool, so let me explain what it means. MAGA.
No, MAGA is a term for people who worship Trump.
Is an ideology. It's
yes,
a statement.
Is. Yeah.
It's a feeling. It's a belief. It means make.
Yes, it is a feeling and a belief, and it does mean make America great again. But their definition and their ideology of what it means to make America great again very much does not include all of humanity together. It only includes a certain group of humanity.
America great again. I can't imagine in a million years why there would be anybody that wouldn't support that statement if they're American.
So what she's saying is like, well, it's all about making America great again. And she's saying, well, I don't understand like how anybody would not support that statement. It's like, well, lady, first of all, let's talk about the phrase make America great again. That can seem like something good. But when you, as she said, MAGA is an ideology. She said it very plain as day. She's like, how can you not understand, like, how make America great again is not a good thing? It's like, but you said it's an ideology, which means that there's fundamentally something more to that statement than what it actually says on the surface, right? Make America great again. That's a very good statement on the surface. But if you dig beneath that slogan and who it's supported by and who it's politicized by, it's not simply just a general statement on helping humanity. It's not. It is an ideology. She says it's an ideology. It is. But it's not a very forgiving, open ideology that she thinks it is. So she's very mistaken.
But it isn't a person. It isn't an organized group.
Yes,
you are lumping American citizens into something negative because they want.
No, it is. Okay, so first of all, she says it's an ideology. And then she says, well, it's not a person and it's not a group. It is a group. It is a group. It is a person. It's an ideology believed in by a group about a person, which is Trump. So stop playing coy with me, lady. Stop playing coy. If you want to talk smack about ideology, I can go all the way with you, all the way home.
I want to see our country great again. I want you to really process that.
How? How can we really process the term "Make America Great Again"? What does that mean? What does that entail? What does that conclude? What does that involve? She's not answering any of this at all. I fucking hate this lady.
It's different than saying Black Lives Matter.
No, it's not.
We all agree Black Lives Matter.
Do you?
But the organization that uses those words is corrupt, and they do nothing.
And is not the organization that uses "Make America Great Again" also corrupt? Are you not also a corrupt organization? Or are you only the pure organization while Black Lives Matter is not? This is a really us versus them mentality.
For the Black community. So go back again and ask yourself why MAGA and Ultra MAGA are so bad, and why you associate that to a group when it is an ideology. One that we should all subscribe to. So if you're letting these politicians...
So, okay, I have a bone to pick. I have a bone to pick with people who pick and choose the word ideology and what it gets to apply and not apply to. So this lady is saying MAGA is not a group of people. It is simply an ideology, to which she doesn't actually define. She simply just frowns upon people who don't think it's an ideology. Simultaneously, this quote-unquote MAGA group ideology, they don't like being called a group, I'm sorry. They also say that trans is an ideology, even though the trans community says, like, hey, we're just people. They're like, no, you're just an ideology. You're not actually people. It's a little interesting to me. On the other hand, they're like, well, MAGA is not a group of people. We're just an ideology. It's like, what is ideology to you? What does ideology mean to you? And what is considered a valid ideology worth respecting and what is not? And is there a difference between a group of people and an ideology? And which is more respectable, a group or an ideology? There's so many weird philosophical definitions and like dissections we can go into here between like what is a group and what is an ideology and like the difference between these things. Like, is a group of people a monolith to an ideology, or are they simply just like people who exist? So a little interesting to me how like today's a day and age, I feel like people kind of like pick and choose what is considered an ideology, what is considered a group, what is considered an interaction between the two. I don't know. I think I want to have more of a conversation about that. Like, what is ideology in today's age? Exactly. Let's move on from this lady because I don't think she knows what she's fucking talking about.
I love when people tell me I'm in the MAGA cult. The MAGA cult. First of all, I don't even know what the MAGA cult is, man. I just like to be able to afford food and gas and get to work and have a job. If that's a MAGA cult, then I guess I'm in the MAGA cult. I guess what you mean is, do I support Donald Trump? The answer to that would be unequivocally, yes, I do. See, that's the one thing.
Well, that's kind of the point, is the whole point of the ideology of the MAGA cult is they ultimately uphold Trump as like the ultimate figure to bring into fruition the ideas that they want. That's kind of the whole point, right? So like it's kind of interesting to watch this guy saying, well, like, I'm not in a cult, but I do support Trump. But it's like, but Trump kind of gives that prophetic like cult like thing. Like, if you don't support me, then you don't support freedom of speech, and you don't support justice, and you don't support this.
Y'all can't do. You can't take away our memories, man. We remember. We know what it was like before Joe Biden took office. That freaking meat sock. He's not worth freaking. He's more useless than freaking foreskin. Let's break this down. Anyway, you say MAGA, like it's a bad thing.
I'm sorry, did this man just say Joe Biden is as useless as foreskin? Yo, let's go back. I gotta back up. I'm sorry, I gotta back up. I gotta back up from the beginning. Let's listen to this.
I love when people tell me I'm in the MAGA cult. The MAGA cult. First of all, I don't even know what the MAGA cult is, man. I just like to be able to afford food and gas and get to work and have...
Me too. Me too. As a left-leaning trans person, I just want to have a job, afford gas, go to work, have a career, go to a 9-to-5, come home, play video games.
A job. If that's a MAGA cult, then I guess I'm in the MAGA cult. I guess what you mean is, do I support Donald Trump? The answer to that would be unequivocally, yes, I do. See, that's the one thing y'all can't do. You can't take away our memories, man. We remember. We know what it was like before Joe Biden took office. That freaking meat sock. He's not worth freaking... He's more useless than freaking foreskin. Let's break this down anyway. You say MAGA.
Him saying that Joe Biden is as useless as foreskin is a little odd to me. I think it's because he's sort of admitting to us right now in person that he's cut. He's been, like, circumcised. Like it's almost like he's stating, he's like, well, Biden is as useful as foreskin. It's like, are you cut too tight? Because that can happen. Like, you can be cut, like, you can be circumcised, like, too tight where it hurts. Like, dude, did your circumcision not go right? Because I swear to God, that was a very particular reference that you just made now. Like, does he have, or was he not cut? Does he have foreskin and he thinks it's gross? Like, he's ashamed of it? Like, why was there the foreskin comment? That's really
useless than freaking foreskin. Let's break this down anyway. You say MAGA,
that's gotta be,
like it's a bad thing.
That's gotta be a self-report. That's gotta be a self-report. Like, as useless as foreskin, it's gotta be a self-report in some way, shape, or form.
It literally means make America great again. Now, unless you're
a
communist,
Okay, so far, the two people that we've watched, they made it very clear that, like, oh, we're not a cult. We just want to make America great again. And that's what you're not focusing on. You're not paying attention to the main slogan, Make America Great Again. The problem is how do we make America great again? What does that entail? They don't want to talk about that part. That's where the biases come in. That's where the bigotry comes in. That's where the racism comes in. The transphobia, all that.
Would say you probably should agree with that. And then you guys just like to, sauce it up a little bit by saying cult. Dude, if there's anybody that's in a cult, you guys got some weird crap going on over there on that side. I mean, there is some serious confusion going on over there, man.
And what he means by weird shit going on that side is that he's secretly into QAnon conspiracy, like Democrats are killing children, like, sort of shit.
I don't even know what to tell y'all. So, am I in the MAGA cult? No, I'm pro-American.
No, you're not.
I'm pro-Second Amendment.
No, you're not.
And I believe in the rule of law.
No, you're not.
And I don't like illegals storming my country. If that makes me MAGA cult, I'm the MAGA cult.
Yeah, you are. You're in a cult. Thank you.
Guys, you want to hear about election interference? Just so we're clear, the sentencing in yesterday's sham show trial is 4 days before the Republican National Convention. Give me a break. They're not even pretending anymore. Guys, you want to hear about election interference? Just so we're clear, the sentence...
Okay, bro.
Is anyone surprised that the weaponization of our judicial system would take place with Biden, who is known for wanting to lock up drug addicts, while his own son is in active addiction, but it's all good in his hood, and Kamala, who locked up plenty of black men for sport? So we're worried about who's going to be the first woman president.
It's true, though. She's not lying here when she's talking about Kamala Harris and her locking up, like black people for drug possession. I mean, and I think this is where it's justifiable. And I honestly, I do owe my audience an apology to some degree, because I lean so heavily on anti-Trump, anti-conservative, anti-all this. I honestly don't blame my audience for perhaps assuming maybe I'm supportive of Biden, which I'm not. And I think next week, next Friday, I think I'm going to do like sort of a deep dive into Biden and Kamala Harris, and as to like why I don't support them either. And I think you deserve that. Like, I think it's only fair to go into that when I'm so heavy on like anti-Trump, anti-right-wing, anti-this, anti-that, anti-Elon Musk. Like, I think it's only fair to give you all an insight as to why I'm also anti-Biden, anti-Kamala Harris. Like, I don't like those people either. I think it's only fair I dive into that. So next week, we're going to get into that. Because it is true. Like, Kamala Harris, she has had some past history where she convicted people of crimes that honestly really didn't deserve it. Like, I don't know. It's really convoluted, though. We can't exactly sum it up all right here. Mark says he's not that progressive. Mainstream Democrats are not that progressive. They're really not the... Okay, so here's, in a nutshell, it's really hard to it's really hard to talk about politics. It's really hard to talk about it and summarize it in a nice, neat little package. Because, like, even though I say a phrase where, like, here's what I generally believe in, there's still components of that belief that are open up to discussion. So it's like, when I say I don't advocate for Biden, like, there's still some things open up for discussion where I kind of do, but not really. My ultimate gripe with Democrats, and this is my own personal opinion, it's not like a Neogenian like perspective officially. Like, my own personal opinion is that I often like Democrats less than Republicans. And I know that seems weird to say, like, Jan, how can you like Republicans more than Democrats? It's like, listen to this. It's not a matter of like or dislike. It's just that when Republicans and conservatives speak, I know what to expect. But when leftist Democrats, liberal Democrats speak, they often come from a position of self-righteousness and empty promises As in, they're like, we're going to do this for minorities. We're going to do this for trans people. We're going to do this for gay people. We're going to do this for black people. And they never actually do the thing that they say. So it's like, it's not that I respect Republicans more. It's just that I expect more. I get more honesty from Republicans and conservatives because I know they're very in the front. Like they put out what they mean, right? Whereas Democrats, they often promise you things as a minority. They often promise you things as like a gay person or a trans person or a black person or that. But they don't actually deliver that to the end. So in a way, in a weird way, I kind of hate Democrats more because they don't deliver what they promise, and they're more of a virtue signal. Like they virtue signal more, and they say they're better when you look at Republican conservatives, like they say exactly what they mean, right? Like Republican conservatives say like, we hate this, we hate that, like we don't like this, whereas Democrats are like, well, we kind of encompass you. And it's like, but when you look at Democrats at the end of the day, Democrats are very self-serving for their capitalistic overlords, right? Like they'll tell you what you want to hear, but ultimately it's about capitalism. So in a weird way, I feel like Democrats are kind of more capitalistic than Republicans. Kind of. Not really. Like, but just kind of. And that's my thing. Is like I feel like, you know, like when you look at Republicans, and when Republicans tell you, like conservative Republicans tell you what they believe and what they're looking for, they're very like straightforward for what they believe. Whereas like leftist Democrats, it's like they kind of tell you that they're supportive of you, but then there's very overarching like capitalistic tendencies and drives behind that. Like ultimately it's capitalism disguised as inclusivity. Inclusivity? Inclusivity. Inclusive? Inclusiveness. That's just kind of like my ultimate like personal opinion on Democrats. The leftist democratic movement is like, it gives a lot of promises, but like it's kind of hypocritical because like they're very capitalistic in the long run. Like whatever makes them money, right? Like a corporate business will be supportive of gay people. They'll make the rainbow clothes, they'll make the rainbow drinks, they'll make the rainbow commodities as long as it makes them money, right? Like it's almost like they don't give a shit what you are. But whatever makes them money.
This is someone who has escaped justice time after time after time. Someone who was able to delay and continues to delay all of his other trials. He has really played rope-a-dope in the courts and gotten away with it until today. And I do think justice has finally caught up with Donald Trump. That doesn't mean there won't be appeals and further efforts at delay, but he will be forever branded a convicted felon. In addition to his bad-mouthing the court, his utter trash talking the United States of America. It brought me back to his inauguration address.
Here's a green screen, just so y'all can use it.
This was a disgrace.
The 12 everyday jurors vowed to make a decision based on the evidence and the law, and the evidence and the law alone. Their deliberations led them to a unanimous conclusion beyond a reasonable doubt that the defendant, Donald J. Trump, is guilty of 34 counts of falsifying business records in the first degree to conceal a scheme to corrupt the 2016 election. And while this defendant may be unlike any other in American history, we arrived at this trial and ultimately today at this verdict in the same manner as every other case that comes through the courtroom doors, by following the facts and the law and doing so without fear or favor.
Yeah, so Andy says Kamala was a prosecutor, though. That's what I mean. That's what I mean by, like, we should get into next live stream, like, the atrocities of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, because they do not have clean hands. They don't have clean hands. Kamala Harris put away a lot of good people for no fucking reason over weed. Let me tell you that.
You could easily classify that as a legal expense.
No matter.
Okay, so this lady is talking about how Trump's case was not about a matter of hush money, but that it was just simply a legal expense. It wasn't actually a hush money payment. It was just simply a legal expense.
You could easily classify that as a legal expense.
No matter what it's for, right? Even if it's illegal conduct, you can just put it's a legal expense, right?
This wasn't illegal. There's nothing illegal about paying hush money for an NDA. It's done
there's not,
all the
but when
time.
you're doing it.
There's nothing illegal about paying hush money towards an NDA. So, essentially, she's admitting that Trump paid hush money towards Stormy Daniels, but she's trying to classify that as a valid legal move and not an unjust criminal move.
To protect your campaign, it is. That's the difference.
No. What law are you citing, Dan?
Campaign finance laws. You're not allowed to give the.
You don't know what you're talking
about.
about.
What are you talking?
You're wrong.
Okay.
Brian, you've been tracking the money around former President Donald Trump. I remember.
Yo, so straight up, ever since this whole, like, guilty verdict has been going on about Trump, there has been a phenomenal amount of donations towards Trump's campaigns. Like, so much where his donation site was shut down because there was such a flood of people, like, donating to it. So whether or not you like it or not, Trump is getting a lot of support and a lot of money for this guilty verdict. Like, straight up, like, people, like, his supporters are doubling down. His supporters are doubling down because they're like, oh no, our great leader is being persecuted and we have to support him more than ever. So there is, like, a flood of donations toward his campaign, his efforts, his movements. And frankly, there's fucking nothing we can do about it.
The NBC reporting yesterday that the website DonaldJTrump.com had crashed, I think is some indication of what we've seen in reaction. What are you seeing?
Well, I'm seeing, you know, what you just pointed out, where the website did crash last night. And we're being told that, you know, post the guilty verdict, Donald Trump's campaign raised just over $34 million. And I've been covering this a long time, and I have never seen that amount raised in a matter of hours, because that's the amount that he raised post the verdict up until midnight. We don't know yet how much money that they've brought in today. And I'm being told just before we went to this press conference that it is going to be extensively more. There's somebody who predicted that through the weekend we could see Donald Trump hit $50 million in fundraising post that verdict. And I mean, that is an extraordinary reference point, and it really goes to show that what his claims today about him being basically a victim, that's what we're talking about here, is working when it pertains to fundraising. That's key here. He's being able to raise money at a clip on the message that he's making in this press conference and through various emails and text messages to supporters and new supporters, from what I'm being told.
Meh.
Brian, you've been tracking the money.
Look. There's a lot of stuff going on right now, and frankly, oh, Jesus, who am I going to look at next? Let me look at Ramaswamy first, real quick. Hold on. Let me look at Ramaswamy.
I just got to Italy. I was traveling here while the Trump verdict came down, and I have to say that when people here ask me what the heck is going on in your country, I am ashamed. If this were happening in another country, and we in the United States heard about a party in power that was using...
I'm sorry. I feel like there's constantly this egotistical, like, overtone of, like, how America is the best, the greatest, and whatever. So if America is caught, or American politics or American leaders are caught in any position where it's, like, below that idea of, like, perfection, then it's all over. However, other countries experience that all the time, and it's like everyday news. Like, yes, our politician has corruption, like, who gives a shit? But America seems to treat itself as, like, very special. It's like, we can't have anything imperfect at all. Like, we can't be imperfect, we can't have mistakes, we can't have anything, and like, you do, honey, we do. 250 years, we are riddled with imperfections, okay? Straight up. Adam says, I'm a progressive populist. I don't know what progressive a populist means, but I will look into it, thank you. Hey, look, everybody, it's been like 3 hours now of like live streaming about Trump. I think we're at the end of the shrubbery maze. I mean, I definitely have a lot more things we could look at, but I'm kind of tired, so I think I'm gonna like call it a night. Anyways, thank you so much for coming. My overall thought about this Trump stuff is... Trump is obviously not a candidate for teleocratic views, the teleocracy that we want to see as a Neogenian community. So, I don't know, the fact that he's being convicted of felony crimes doesn't really matter in the long run to the Neogenian system, other than he's getting what he deserves. I guess ultimately I want to make it clear that if you attend my streams, and I do understand that I'm not Morg, right? Like, Morg is a brilliant person, the foundational person for Neogenians, the Neogenian system. Like, Morg is wonderful. I love Morg. I love attending Morg's streams, but I am a person who very much agrees and identifies with the Neogenian system, who definitely agrees with like Morg's outlook on life, but I have my own views. And when you come to my channel and my live streams, we definitely get really political. If you go to Morg's live streams, Morg does not get political, and not because Morg is afraid or unwilling, but because that just literally is not the pathway of their channel and their life, their topics. Like, Morg talks about things that I couldn't even imagine talking about. Like, I couldn't even imagine talking about like Gnosticism, like all this other stuff, like all this really in-depth stuff to do with like the Neogenian system. I definitely talk about like Neogenian system stuff, but it's more like political. It's more like how life looks at things. And I know at some times it seems like I am like a purely left leaning person, or at times it's like right leaning and that and the other. When you watch me for content on Neogenianism, for the Neogenian perspective, I don't want you to listen to me as direct guidance for how you should vote and how you should look at certain political figures, but how certain things relate to the teleological outlook in life, which is the Neogenian system. And if you're confused on these terms, it will be coming out soon. Morg just released a first book, The Neogenian Dawn, and it is the first of like I think 5 series of books, and eventually there's going to be the book pertaining to politics specifically. I'm very much looking forward to that. So in a nutshell, I don't want you to think that I am purely a radical leftist, liberal, things like that. Like, no, I don't like Biden. I don't like Kamala Harris. Like, I don't like those things either. I'm very Neogenian. I'm very teleocratic. And if you are uncertain about what those things are, follow me. Like my channel. Stick along. We're going to figure that out together. Okay? Okay. So thank you everybody for hanging out with me tonight. We're going to say goodbye until next week. Now, one thing I want to make very clear. I know I have made it very fucking clear that I am doing video games now. And I said I'm going to be doing video games this week. The Neogenian Oculus channel. I don't know if Philip is here or Susan is here, but if you want to drop a link to that. The Neogenian Oculus is doing another live stream tomorrow, and I don't stream on days that the Neogenian Oculus is going live. And I heard they're going live tomorrow, so like unfortunately, I'm sorry my friends, like we're putting it off another week because the Neogenian Oculus is going live this Saturday. So Susan, Philip, if you're gonna drop, like, if you're still here, please drop the link to that. That'd be great. You can join the Neogenian Oculus tomorrow on their live to learn more about the Neogenian system. They're probably gone. They're like, fuck you, Jan. Philip's gone. Susan's gone. I don't know. I don't have a link to the Neogenian Oculus, so I can't post it to you. They have the link, so if they're in here, they can post the link. But if not, I mean, that's on them. So hopefully we get to game next week. I have not heard if the Neogenian Oculus is streaming next week or not. Hopefully we can have better communication about that. If not, I mean, I guess we'll figure something else out. So anyways, good night everybody. I don't think Philip and Susan are in here. I don't think they're going to come in here and talk about the Neogenian Oculus, which is fine. I don't know anything about the Neogenian Oculus. I think they're having like a Neo Nexus Academy thing. It would be really cool if Susan and Philip were in here to like just like give a comment about that, but like if they're not here, I get that. Like I don't know anything about that. We'll see you next week. All right? All right, good night everybody. Love you. Take care. Good night.